I seem to remember a time, at least it felt like it was a time, when gaming was apolitical, right? You could have fun, you could poke fun at everything, people were just having a good old time. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always been jerks and douches in gaming, right? There always have been, there always will be. You can't turn on general like in-game chat for any game without being called a litany of racial epithets within the first 5 seconds. It is the way things are. It just is. When there's anonymity, people say the very worst stuff. Remember that Bill Cosby show, Kids Say the Darndest Things? Well, on the internet, it's adults say the most racist things all the time. It's just kind of the way things are. It's never going to change, and trying to actively change it is only going to make it worse because people are then going to feel like their fun is being messed with, and if their fun is being messed with, then they double down, right? And when I look at this particular story, especially in regards to Blizzard, I understand why Blizzard is trying to act the way that it is, but I think looking at the context provided here, it's really dumb. So here's what they did. Blizzard actively forces a WoW guild called Make Azeroth Great Again to change its name. Yeah, because, they have no problem bowing to Chinese politics, but American politics, oh no, 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 no. You make a joke, you can't do it. It says here that Blizzard Entertainment, the company behind World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Diablo, forced the guild Make Azeroth Great Again to change their name. The WoW Classic player and the guild Cogblast spoke to GameBite after they reported another guild called Gay Boys was forced to change their name. I don't have a problem with either one of these names, to be fair. Cogblast says that Blizzard did the same thing to my WoW Classic guild, Make Azeroth Great Again, which is just a tongue-in-cheek name for what is really just a social guild. We got it changed back, and then 12 hours later, it was a forced change again, which kind of feels like somebody overreacted, and then they went and they changed it back, and then somebody else with even less sense than that first person came back in and forced them to change it. Cogblast here shares emails of what he received from Blizzard that detailed the name would be changed with the specific infraction being inappropriate name, and that the guild had been reported multiple times. Of course, because, WoW players are, I guess, salty. In fact, the original email said, due to these player reports, we've renamed your World of Warcraft guild. However, in the subsequent email, they said that the name should not have been changed. The game master told Cogmaster, we took a look here and I'm very sorry this happened. I fixed your name and removed the penalty. Then they added, you are correct. The name does not break our terms of service. However, they were forced to do it again. So someone took a look at it, saw that it was tongue-in-cheek, went, oh, and then it's still stupid. Then a Blizzard rep contacted him in-game and basically told him that the name was not RP friendly and that this standard was at least partially based on the opinions of the server. So not the opinions of the company, not the opinions that apparently didn't violate terms of service in the preset terms of service. No, people got mad in the servers. Instead of going to another server or finding something else or just avoiding it altogether, they complained. He detailed that the guild's name was meant to be fun themed that allowed us to flex our creativity while joking around with each other. Blizzard notes in their code of conduct guidelines that role-playing realms are governed with a higher standard than non-role-playing realms, saying here that for the names of these guilds, anyone in the server, the names are subject to change as the rules established above. Any name the player has the ability to customize, such as player names, battle tags, and guild names, must be appropriate and inoffensive. Any name that violates our standards or disrupts the community will be changed, and additional limitations will be placed on the offending account per our discretion. Take note that acceptable names are determined by player reports and Blizzard's decision, and role-playing servers may have distinct standards for using game-appropriate names. So, I mean, I get that they want to be a little bit more hardcore. I could understand like on a World of Warcraft like server, if it's a role-playing server, if someone comes in there and they have a guild that's like techno crybabies or something, I don't know, it could be something that's maybe not in line with the RP element of it. And that, like it could be like, oh, we're a Transformers guild. Like I'm Optimus Prime in Azeroth. Like maybe that might have a thing. But this is what he says. He says, Cogblast detailed the guild operated within the role-playing guidelines. saying here that this was on a server designated RVPvP, which means that server focuses on role playing and player versus player combat. My guild's recruitment messages were satirical parodies of Republican talking points using in-game lore and places or in place of real places and people. So it's just tongue-in-cheek, it's satirical, that's it. This is what he gives as an example, and it's funny. For instance, instead of promising a southern border wall to keep out Mexican immigrants, we would promise a northern border wall to keep out the neighboring troll civilization. Trolls are playable, and Blizzard routinely makes references to real people using all of the available player races, so this was never meant to be a slight against anyone. And so with that, what we can see here is that you've got Blizzard just like completely overdoing it. I'm anti-Trump. I want him out of office. He's a terrible president. My politics are known, but this is just, come on. Like, Blizzard is just, they have no problem capitulating to well, you know what, a communist capitalist country. I don't know, whatever people want to define China as now. You know, and they have no problem bending over backwards to that. They have no problem, you know, going after Blitzchung and all that stuff. But no, someone wants to make a joke guild that's in line with the current lore and satirizing current Republican talking points for a laugh. That's not affecting anyone. That's not impacting anyone. And yet some people complained and got it shut down. And Blizzard they keep sucking. Like, as a result of this, Cogblast has stopped playing WoW Classic. He's done for right now because of the scandal. He doesn't want to deal with it anymore. He's just tired of it. He's done. And I don't blame him. I don't blame any player. It's like the Fallout 76 Fallout first $100 membership. Like, it's designed for certain people, but I wouldn't be surprised if it pushed off so many more people because it just feels like this disgusting practice. And that's what these companies are doing. I get that they want to like appeal to the broadest demographic, but at the same time, if no one is like, if they were running around the make Azeroth great again, you know, people were running around and like attacking others and like all sorts of things. I could understand that if they were like using it like an actual RP, like we're the diehard Azeroth supporter sort of thing. You know, like I could see that. But if they're just mocking Republican talking points for jokes and just trying to be creative and funny, the best memes come out of those kind of situations. The best internet humor comes out of those kind of situations. I mean, all things considered, Leroy Jenkins is like one of the biggest things to ever come out of WoW. And that's funny. And that was a meme. And it was just over something stupid. You know? It just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. These companies are just getting dumber and dumber as time goes on because they're so afraid of negative headlines at this point. That's all it is. They're just afraid of negative headlines. That's what they're afraid of. And they'd rather just kind of be jerky jerks about it. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I will definitely talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a fantastic day and peace out.